All right, so get ready because today we're doing a deep dive that's going to really shake up how you see the world.
Yeah, it's a big one.
We're talking about the brain.
But not just like the brain as an organ, like
Oh.
how it actually creates reality.
Yeah, you got it. The brain as, get this, a prediction machine.
A prediction
Pretty
machine.
wild, right?
And we're not just, speculating here. We're diving deep into the work of Dr. Raphael Youst, neuroscientist extraordinaire.
Seriously, this guy is the real deal. I mean, we're talking professor at Columbia University, a driving force behind the Brain Initiative, which, by the way, was launched by the Obama administration.
Yeah, I'm not messing around.
And on top of all that, he heads up the Neurorights Foundation.
Huge, huge name in the field. And his book, it's called The Brain, the Theater of the World.
Catchy title.
Right, lays out this idea that it'll melt your brain a little. Basically, he's saying our brains aren't just reflecting reality, they're actively creating it.
Whoa. Back up a sec. So you're saying what we experience as real, like what I'm seeing right now, it's all just a simulation.
Kind of, yeah. Think of it this way. Your brain, it's been evolving for, 700 million years, give or take? So it's got this, deep-seated need to predict what's going to happen next.
Sure.
Survival instinct, right? And it does that by building this virtual reality model of the world.
So my brain's basically running its own version of the Truman Show, building the set and everything.
Exactly. The theater of the world, as he calls it.
Okay, that is wild. But hold on, if our brains are so busy predicting the future, are we even really, present in the moment?
That's a question philosophers have been wrestling with forever.
Right, deep thoughts, man.
But here's the thing. Youst's research, it's starting to give us some actual scientific insights into how this whole prediction thing works in the brain.
So it's not just philosophical anymore. Science is actually catching up to these big questions.
Oh, absolutely. And the implications are, well, they're huge. For example, Youst's team, they've managed to actually manipulate memories in mice.
Wait, they can? Plant memories? Erase them? Is that what you're saying?
It's still early days,
Yeah.
research-wise, but yeah, they've been able to basically tweak neural activity in a way that directly affects how memories form.
Okay, so that's both incredible cool and also kind of terrifying. Where does this lead us? What does it mean for treating brain diseases, for example?
And that's where it gets really, really interesting. Because Youst believes this whole reality-generating thing, it could be the key to finally figuring out how to treat diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's.
Ours are big ones.
Huge. Diseases that, frankly, we've been kind of stumbling in the dark about. He even calls them the black corner of medicine because we still know so little about what causes them or how to effectively treat them.
So what you're saying is this whole reality-generating model of the brain, it's not just some abstract theory. It could actually hold the key to cracking some of the biggest medical mysteries out there.
Exactly. And it goes even further than that even. Think about it. What if we could have thought-to-text communication, instant language translation, heck, even sharing feelings directly?
Whoa. Now you're just messing with me. That's straight out of the Matrix.
Yeah.
Are you saying we're going to be downloading emotions and stuff?
Well, maybe not plugging into the Matrix just yet, but those scenarios, they're looking less like sci-fi and more like, actual possibilities every day. Thanks to research like Youst's. In fact, he said he wants to be first in line to try thought-to-text technology. But, and this is a big but, all this potential, it comes with some, let's just say, ethical challenges, big ones.
Yeah.
And that's where Neurorights comes in.
Yeah.
It's a big part of Youst's work, actually. He's been a leading voice in saying we need to protect brain data. It should be a fundamental human right.
Yeah, which totally makes sense when you think about it. We're talking about the core of who a person is, right? Their thoughts, their memories, everything. It's way more personal than even our DNA, right?
That's exactly his argument. He says brain data should be treated like medical records, top security clearance. And this isn't, some far-off thing either. This is happening now. California. They just passed a neurorights law. And get this, with everyone voting for it, unanimous.
Wow, no way. So even lawmakers are like, okay, this is serious stuff. But what does that even mean? What does a neurorights law actually do?
Basically, it says your brain data, it's yours, it's your property, like owning a house or something, and no one can mess with it without your say-so. It's like a digital shield around your inner world. Keeps the hackers out.
Okay, I like the sound of that. We definitely need some ground rules as this technology keeps, evolving at warp speed. But we've talked about protecting the brain from, unwanted access, right? But what about the flip side? Using this stuff to actually make our brains better, enhance them.
That's where this brain-computer interface stuff comes in, which Yusti is also super into. He sees huge potential there. Like, we could boost our abilities in ways we haven't even thought of yet.
It's kind of a trip, right? Like, on one hand, we got to make sure no one's hijacking our brains, but then there's this whole other side where we could, merge with technology and do amazing things.
For sure, it's a balancing act. And it gets even wilder when you bring AI into the picture.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. How does AI connect to all of this?
So get this. A lot of today's AI, especially the neural network stuff, it's based on brain models from way back when. Like the 1960s. Think about it back then. What we knew about the brain, it was pretty basic compared to now.
Wow, really? So we have tech that seems super advanced, but it's using vintage brain science as its blueprint. That's kind of mind-blowing.
Totally. And here's the kicker. Even running on those old school models, the human brain, still way more complex, way more efficient than any AI we've cooked up. So just imagine what we could create if we could translate what we know now about the brain into new tech.
It's like we're only just starting to unlock the brain's potential, both for understanding ourselves and for building the future of technology.
Exactly. And think about this too. Your brain, right?
Yeah.
3 times more connections than the entire internet combined.
Get it out of here. No way.
And it runs on roughly the same amount of power as one of those dim light bulbs. 20 watts.
Wait, seriously, all that processing power on a light bulb's worth of energy? That's insane. No wonder everyone's trying to create AI that can mimic the brain.
Exactly. The possibilities are huge, right? We could have AI that's not just smarter, but also crazy energy efficient. Think what that could mean for, everything. Our computers, robots, even how we power our homes. The brain, it's like this perfect model for sustainable tech.
That's incredible. But I got to say, it's also a lot to take in. I mean, we're talking about rethinking reality itself, the potential for medical breakthroughs, the ethics of messing with our brains, and this whole AI thing on top of it all.
It is a lot, which is why I think Eustace's work is so important right now. Because he's not just, a brilliant brain scientist. He gets the deeper questions too, the philosophical stuff, the ethics.
He's like a philosopher scientist for the 21st century, trying to help us navigate this whole new world we're stepping into.
Exactly. Excited about the possibilities, but also, eyes wide open about the risks.
So where does that leave us? For someone listening to this, with all this mind-blowing stuff swirling around, what's the takeaway? What should we be thinking about?
Well, I think the big takeaway is this. We are on the edge of our seats here, really, when it comes to understanding the brain and what it can do. I mean, the possibilities, huge. But that also means a big responsibility too, right?
Yeah, totally. It's like we're suddenly holding the keys to unlocking these hidden parts of ourselves we didn't even know existed before. And then the question becomes, well, what are we going to do with those keys?
And that's the million-dollar question we need to be asking, right now, as a society, Because we're talking about the future of our minds literally at stake here.
And it's not just about the tech either. It's deeper than that, right? Let's say we could share thoughts and feelings instantly, just like that. Would that actually make relationships better? Or would it, ruin some of the mystery, What makes connecting with another person so special?
I know, right? It's crazy to even think about. Imagine a world with, 0 misunderstandings, no arguments, because we just, boom, know exactly what the other person's thinking. Would that actually bring us closer? Or would it be a whole new level of weird distance?
It's true. It's kind of a mind warp. Part of me is yeah, sign me up for that. No more hurt feelings ever. But then there's that other part, right? The part that's isn't figuring each other out part of what makes relationships so interesting?
Exactly. Like Eustace says, the brain is the sanctuary of the mind, right?
Yeah.
It's what makes us each unique. It's what shapes how we see the world. So if we start messing with that, even if we mean well, who knows what could happen?
He's got a point. This isn't just about, the next cool gadget or whatever. It's about who we are as humans,
Yeah.
At our core.
And that's what makes this whole area so fascinating, right? I mean, yeah, we're talking about neurons and all that, but really, it's about the big stuff. What does it mean to be human?
Well, I think it's safe to say our minds are officially blown for one episode. Dr. Raphael Yuste, everyone, a voice we should all be paying attention to as we boldly go where no one's gone before, right?
Totally. His work reminds us that sometimes the biggest discoveries just lead to even bigger, more exciting questions.
So to everyone listening, if you're walking away from this deep dive with more questions than answers, that's a good thing. It means your brain's doing its job. Keep exploring, keep those questions coming, and until next time, happy thinking, everybody.